and where it's everything real estate. And tonight also we continue to study. Today we will learn about due diligence. What do you need to know when buying land? What do you need to know when verifying a title? What do you need to know when buying a house, a condominium? And we have with me the experts on this subject. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me Mr. Mukisa Joel Mawerere. Please say hi to the members.
My name is Joel Mawerere Mukisa. I'm a registered land surveyor. I practice with Abataka Land Services. I am also a board member of the KCCA Staff Circle, where I guide them when it comes to land transactions. And I also work for the Institution of Surveyors of Uganda as their Vice Chair, Land Surveying Chapter.
You're welcome, Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another expert on the subject, someone who has been in the real estate business for over 10 years and has been very successful at it. Welcome with me, David from Victoria Nile Estate.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for the warm welcome. My name is David Tumwesije from Victoria Nile Estates. I'm the CEO and I'm a realtor by training. I'm so glad to be here and partake in this important conversation. Thank you so much.
And to start with you, David, what's the secret that makes you a very successful agent?
Well, to begin with, it's about doing the right thing at the right time.
So what is due diligence?
Well, that's a very pertinent topic. Let me give a definition of due diligence. Due diligence is the process of gathering relevant and authentic information regarding the property, which comprises of confirming ownership, that is historical and current, and then you also confirm the size of the property, look at dimensions, and most importantly, we look at the encumbrance status of that property. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. As an agent, how do you do due diligence?
Well, there are a number of ways how we can do due diligence, but when it comes to property, just like you can enter into a supermarket to buy a loaf of bread, the first thing to look at, it is the expiry date, not so. So before you put the bread in the trolley, you look at the expiry date. So regarding property, before you do anything on in the property buying process, you need to first authenticate the ownership. Actually, to me, before I go further, I first ask for the title of that property. Okay. If you don't have that title, then it's a red flag. So there's what we call an official search report, which is made at Register of Titles. My brother Joel here will help me. So you do that report, it's a written search report. Then the Commissioner of Register of Titles will forward it to the Records Office, whereby they will retrieve the information regarding that file. Now, to me, who is buying a property, I will look out for the discrepancies on that search report. Does it match with what have been shown on the actual title? If there are discrepancies, then there are two things. I'll either walk away or find out why is this information mismatching with what I have in paper. So that means a paper alone is not enough. So you have to go ahead and look at the search report. We call it a certificate. Yes, and also find out if there are, for example, encumbrances on that certificate, and then you're good to go.
You brought in so many new words. Encumbrances, certificates.
Thank you so much.
Search title. Yes, what did you call it? Anyway, Joel, how do I know I am looking at an authentic land title?
First of all, I would want to first supplement on what is said. When we give you a search letter, let me say at a land office, when they give you a search letter, you'll note that the search letter has no face of the person selling land to you. Yeah. So, in other words, I would advise that you look for information that is in the registry file, some the transfers that have been done before, who are the first owner. There are always passport photos that have been kept in the registry file. So you need to find a way of getting those details and those documents such that the face of the person you are dealing with is the face that you know that is known by the government as the true owner of the land. That is really critical. Even if they put the name, someone can go to NASA Road and come up with a forged national ID and pose that I'm the owner, and yet they are not. Yes. Back to your question, how do I know that I'm looking at an authentic land title? Recently, there have been developments on the features of a land title. I think the most recent is the QR code.
Oh.
Yeah, on the land title. If you look at it critically, on the map itself, what we call a title deed, there's a QR code, and also on the certificate of title itself, there's also a QR code. So you can use your phone and scan it, so it will tell you that it will give you the instrument number, the transaction number, and when the title was done, and who signed it, and where it was done from.
Does it also tell you who it has been transferred to? These days, titles move hands.
I think they haven't reached that point in technology, but it will give you at least an idea that the title I'm owning or I'm being shown when I'm buying this piece of land is really valid, and it was done by the government, it is known, and yeah, it's in perfect condition.
Okay, that is a latest development, but most people have the all type of titles. But how do I know I'm looking? Do you know, many people, and I'm sure some of the people watching, do not know how a land title looks like. And do not also know that with that land title, you have the land. That, where we are at Kabira Country Club, if I have that paper, I have this entire property, right? Yes. So would like to know what are the features to look at to say a land title must have A, B, C, D, must look like this, for someone who doesn't know one or who has never seen one?
I think a land title has 4 parts. One part is ownership.
Okay.
Yes. The second part is location. The third part is encumbrances. And I think the fourth one, I think, is description of property.
What's blueprint? I've always heard of that. Where does it fit on the title? Is it part of it, or it's something that comes before?
I think you mean the title deed, not a blueprint. Yeah, because there are different ways. There's a blueprint, there's blue page, and there's a title deed.
Now you have to explain all of them.
Let's explain a few. The title deed is basically the map that shows you your plot of land, but it's attached in the certificate of title. So a certificate of title is a separate document, and also a title deed is a separate document. Yes. Okay. So the certificate of title is where we find those parts I've mentioned: location of property, its ownership, encumbrances, and other details about how to use the land. Interesting.
Back to you, David. Yes. You've talked of the title search. Yes. Now, when it comes to buying like a condominium property, will I find the name of the owner on a condominium title, or is it the name of the owner of the whole building?
Absolutely. Condominium titles, they are not much different from the normal titles. However, they have some unique features which do not relate to the normal titles. For example, if you're buying a condominium, you'll be much interested in the unit number, because condominium, if I'm to explain to the viewers, is whereby there's a block or a building, but it has multiple units which are owned individually. That's what we call condominium. So when you're doing the search for a condominium, you have to be keen on the unit number. There's also what we call the condominium area. It is different. For example, in Bugolobi, Gate 1, Gate 2, Gate 3, Gate 4, they have different condominium numbers. We call them codes. So those are the items I'll be looking at. And of course, the names of the owner has to be on that title.
Okay.
Yes.
Not the name of the whole estate.
Not the name of the developer.
Okay.
Because the developer, we assume you would have transferred to the individual owners. So each owner, maybe it's a block of 12 apartments. So each owner has a unique title, which is unique to that person, and it differentiates that person from the rest of the unit owners.
Yes, I feel like you want to add something.
No,
Yes, you were still defining a title deed, a certificate of title, and a map. When one buys land, how do they finally own it? I've paid David money, and David has shown me this plot of land, and I'm asking, so when do I own it? After I've paid, I've done the agreement.
It's basically simple. It's as simple as transferring the title to your names. You pay stamp duty, you need a valuation surveyor, will go on ground, verify the value of the property, and then before the valuation surveyor does their work, I think you need also land surveyor, because basically in all transactions, I think the land surveyor comes first on the ground. Yeah, it shows you the extent of the land. Then using the land surveyor's report, the valuation surveyor will come up with the value of the property, and then you can submit that to the land office with a signed transfer form from the person you bought from. Yeah, you need, I think, a passport photo and a sales agreement, then your valuation report. Yes, that's what you submit. Then the government's value will also give you their value. And then in case there's a discrepancy, you can harmonize. So you pay a stamp duty of 1.5% of the value, the agreed value of the land. Yeah. And then you pay registration tax, I think it's 10,000. Yes, then you submit at the reception, and then the government process will work in. Basically, if you're buying land in Kampala, you look for a ministry zonal office that is handling titles in Kampala. If you bought land in Mukono or Kayunga, you look for a ministry zonal office that handles those areas. So basically, the ministry has spread out so many ministry zonal offices around the country that handle so many districts.
Meaning it's per jurisdiction.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will be coming back after the break. Don't forget to pass by Kibera Country Club to bring your friends and family, your functions. It's a very good ambience for you and your loved ones. See you in a short while. Welcome back from that short break. Once again, I want to remind you that we are at Kibera Country Club, a place that you should visit. Back to David.
Yes.
Yes, David.
Yes.
How does an agent work with a surveyor, or do you work together?
Oh, yes, we do. And I normally want to relate our relationship to Siamese twins. You've heard of Siamese twins, whereby they are inseparable sometimes. So our work with the surveyors, me, I'm a real estate businessman, and the surveyors is inseparable, because a surveyor gives you the technical know-how. For example, a surveyor will come and do the boundary opening. Joel talked about it previously. Okay. And then we'll also go ahead and give you the zonal and building regulations in that area. And most importantly, also come out with what we call a registry index map. This map will guide you whereby maybe there's a public utility in that area which you didn't see with your eyes. Maybe they want to move a road there. Or maybe this piece of land you're going to buy is in a riparian reserve. This is whereby the land maybe is on the river banks, something like that. Maybe this piece of land you're going to buy is in a road reserve. We've had those issues. So currently there's actually a legal battle brewing whereby somebody developed on a piece of land. He did not engage the surveyor. Eventually, they're on the rooftop now, they are roofing the house. When they open the boundaries for the next plot, the other person noticed that actually my plot was that one where they what? They are building the house. So it is a stalemate. Now they are going into court, or maybe do some swapping of sorts. So surveying and real estate work, they are inseparable. So it's not good to do shortcuts, because eventually
It will catch up with
it will
you.
catch up with you.
How do you draw the lines? Because I've seen Joel talks of valuers, land surveyors, quantity surveyors, and I'm seeing these days agents are almost doing everything. The only thing we are left to do is write agreements, but even those we are drafting. How do you draw the lines?
Well, I think most importantly, the best thing to do is to use professionals, because the agent is only limited to the agency work. But when it comes to surveying, doing valuation, the professionals are best to handle that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, then we are going to hear repeat cases, and as you might know, 99% of cases which we face in the real estate and construction industry is because the other person said, I can do it myself. Or I have a friend, supposedly a surveyor, who is not, he can do it, and eventually you find that there's that clash. Thank you.
Thank you. Joel, I've heard of concepts like boundary opening. What are those?
Boundary opening, I think I should tell the viewers. Boundary opening means basically putting what your title deed is saying and putting it on ground. Yes, it depends on the method. Majorly depends on the tenure of the title you have. If it is a mile piece of land, it's a different story. If it's a leasehold, it's a different story. If it's freehold, it's also going to be a different story when you're opening those boundaries.
Okay. Okay, take us through the different titles. Well, you told us what's on a title, but I know that in Uganda we have different titles in terms of leasehold and whatnot. How do we tell the difference? Where is the difference on a title? How do I know the title I have is freehold or what?
Ideally, when they give you a document, I think you should dig in and read. Yeah, because it's always written there that this is private mile land, which basically means you can use it the way you wish, as long as you are in the guiding principles of the government. There's freehold. You can hold that land into perpetuity until you leave this planet, and your grandchildren will inherit it. It's yours permanently, forever and ever. It's similar to Milo. Yeah. So when it comes to the leaseholds, it is owned for a specific period of time.
Oh.
Yes, for leasehold.
What are the different times? Yeah, in Uganda, can I hold it for 100 years, 200?
Yeah, basically, I think the starting is, I think 3, but there's also 49 and 99. Yes.
Like I can own a real estate property for 3 years.
Yeah. It depends on. It really depends.
The 3 years. Sorry to jump in. We have seen the 3 years, made like C5. It's what we call a development lease, whereby they give you for that specific period to develop it. Okay? Maybe when you put a structure on it, you can go to the authorities. They can do an extension to either 49 or 99. Yes.
I know that the Davids, the agents, when I say David, fear leasehold. Your people ask, especially if it's out of Kampala. Within Kampala, some have come to live with it. Yeah. Why do clients fear leasehold?
Well, leasehold, okay, generally the tenure systems in Uganda, we have the Milo, as Joel has said previously, Milo system. Then we have the leasehold system. We have the freehold system. Freehold and Milo, they are the same because the interests are, you own it forever. You get it? Exactly. So we also have customary land where you own it as a family, as a clan. So in my own context or from an agency point of view, it's a mixed bag. We have clients who prefer leasehold. For example, if you're selling to a foreigner, it has to be leasehold. Yes. So I think it's more of a preference on who are you selling to, because the interest on leasehold is limited, while freehold you own it for good. Okay. But it's always case by case. Some people don't want freehold because the laws of the land do not permit them to own freehold.
Freehold.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Joel. Does one need a surveyor when buying property?
I would say every time someone is doing something on the face of the earth, they need a surveyor and a development, yes. If you are to construct a house, you need to define the boundaries where you're going to construct. The position of that house in that plot is also done by the surveyor. The verticality of the building is also a responsibility of the surveyor. Yeah, basically that's it. Every time, even when you finish constructing and maybe you want to mortgage it, you still look for a valuation surveyor. Even during the construction, you'll need the quantity surveyor to keep a keen eye on your contractual financial obligations. Okay. So basically, every time you're dealing with anything, any development on the face of the planet, you need a surveyor besides you.
How do I know I'm dealing with a registered surveyor, or it doesn't matter if they are registered?
By the laws of the country, no one is meant to practice surveying unless they are registered
with the
Surveyors Registration Board.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the difference between ISU and Surveyors Registration Board? I mean, we've heard of ISU is the one we interact with most. Institute of Surveyors of Uganda. I
think SRB, in that case, Surveyors Registration Board, is a government body. Yeah, has the mandate to license surveyors who are eligible to practice. And then Institution of Surveyors of Uganda is a body under SRB that is responsible for mentoring, lobbying, and preparing surveyors for registration.
Thank you. David, how do I know I'm dealing with a professional agent? Because part of due diligence is making sure you are working with the right professionals.
Yes.
In the case of real estate agents or brokers, as we commonly know them, how do I know I'm dealing with the right one?
I appreciate that the real estate industry is growing, and with this growth, there is that hunger for professionals. So professionalism now, there's a lot of trainings for agencies. You might have heard about the Real Estate Institute of East Africa. It churns out graduates who are specialized in different disciplines, and these are people who know what to do. So before we used to get a random agent who has zero education on property matters, but now, thankfully, there are trainings in place, and you can be able to get a licensed property agent who has undergone specialized trainings.
Yeah, when you talk of licensed, we are not yet there.
Yes,
but yeah, what you talk of is skilled, one who has gone through a training. That's very good to know.
I should have said skilled, yes.
Yeah, because when you talk of licensing, I know Joel is about to ask, did we miss that? Because the Institute of Surveyors considers the agents to be under.
Basically, it's not the Institute of Surveyors. It's the Surveyors Registration Act. It mentions, it defines the surveyor as a land surveyor, evaluation surveyor, mining and hydrological surveyor, a quantity surveyor, building surveyor, and land agents, and any other professional relating to the built environment and land management. That's what the law says about who a surveyor is.
Yes, unfortunately, our time is fast spent, and we must come to the end of this episode. But in less than a minute, I would like to hear concluding remarks from our guests tonight, starting with you, David.
Yes. What I could tell our viewers, from a decision to sell a property to the final transfer to the new owner, a transaction is multidisciplinary. It involves a lot of steps. You need the surveyor, you need the guy from the bank that's financing, and then most importantly, you need the lawyer to do the legal and conveyancing. So employ the professionals on board, then you live to like real estate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Back to you, Joel.
I'll be as brief as possible. Yeah, in case you're looking for a recognized surveyor or registered surveyor, you'll go to srb.go.ug and you'll find a link that says verify a surveyor. You'll type in that person's name and they'll give you, you write one name, maybe Joel, and then the list of all registered surveyors who are known by the name Joel will appear. If he gives you his registration number, you type in that and then you'll find out who the person you're working with, if he's a professional or not. That's all.
Thank you so much, our dear viewers. It's been a pleasure having you tonight. And also thank you, David and Joel, for giving us such information. It's very key because real estate is someone's lifetime saving. So we need to do due diligence when buying such property. From Property Lane and from the team, see you next time.